Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen news and updates. It is the 13th of April 2022. We've got a new 3.17 open PTU patch. We've got dev responses on ship combat and some ship nerfs, and why do they seem to coincide with ship sales, and after a ship's sold, it then gets nerfed, and we've got some general news on what's happening with the rest of the week as well. Let's start with that. Wednesday is going to have a roadmap update, so hopefully that will give us some indication of what's going on with 3.18 and some additional updates that might appear on the progress tracker. Thursday, Cloud Imperium have a spring merchandise sale with major savings on existing goods. There may be some other little things going on with that sale as well. There are no episodes of Inside Star Citizen or Star Citizen Live this week, as the former's on a hiatus until the end of April, and the latter is in the sort of Easter holiday period. So we'll still see a Star Citizen newsletter on Friday. Actually, with that in mind, I'm thinking of making a weekly newsletter myself, maybe on the Monday or Tuesday, that would highlight last week's news, the upcoming news, the sort of week schedule, and my videos sort of highlight them over the last week or so. Do you think that's a good idea? Tell me in the comments below. I'd have to work out how I was collecting email addresses and then disseminating that information across to people, maybe using MailChimp or something. Right, Alpha 3.17, Fueling Fortunes has a queue patch on the open PTU now. So, and we've got through quite a few little mini patches and updates for this PTU at the moment, and there's still a good amount of work to go to get the patch fixed and sort of bug-free, or, I mean, it's never going to be bug-free, that's a massive overstatement saying it will be bug-free. Getting it into a state which is accessible, playable, and fun to play, ready for a live build. 3.17Q has seen a performance pass on the Lawville Hospital area, Maria Pure of Heart. They've also reduced hunger and thirst decay rates, so a lot of people might be happy about that. There's been a torpedo balance pass. They've adjusted all size 5 through to size 9 torpedoes to have a longer lifespan and more fuel. They've added the A2 Starlifter, the Ares, Ion, and Inferno, all to ship shops, temporarily to the Astro Armada ship shop for those, actually, at the moment. So this adds them to the pool for 3.17's new ships that they've added in-game to be purchasable, that also has the Redeemer, the Spartan, the 400i, the Cutlass Steel, and Hoverquad all in. They were all added during 3.17's PTU phase. It's a lot of ships. That's a fantastic amount of ships. A lot of people were complaining, why can't we buy certain ships? Why aren't they included? Now a lot more of them are, and we're going to get even more when 3.18 releases later this year. So there's a load of bug fixes with this patch as well. They fixed issues causing AI ships to desync during PvE combat. That was a really annoying bug. I'm glad they fixed that. There was an issue that was causing abnormally low frame rates around Port Tressler. Now, some of this has been improved for sure. There are still some frame rate issues, but that has been largely improved. The rock extraction laser should no longer pick up more shards than it can collect at once, causing them to collide with each other and be thrown around, which was kind of cool, but not intended. It should no longer be possible for players to spawn in a landing zone without the armistice zone applying to them. They fixed issues causing the Carrax elevators to not function and the 890 jumps elevators to not function, and an issue causing players to be unable to remove their helmet with the personal inner thought wheel while inside a ship. Equipment in inventory should now equip properly to character and not bounce back into inventory. Multiple ships should no longer be missing their paint tab while using the Vehicle Manager app. They fixed an issue that was causing players to get infinite black screens when respawning after death. I like the fact that that is fixed. Players should now be able to interact with the multi-tool mining attachment after dropping it. The Saber Raven and normal Saber should now correctly have atmosphere in their cockpits. The Hull A should no longer appear to have more shield faces than intended, and they fixed 8 client crashes, 7 server crashes, and 3 server deadlocks. That is a nice set of fixes and stability there. There's still a good amount of known issues, but there's a lot of the more egregious ones have been fixed now, which is fantastic. But we still got mineable rocks sometimes spawning inside other rocks. Apparently they've got a fix for this, and it should hopefully be in the next build release. Kiosks can inconsistently show rows of blank entries with no pictures, price, or information. Custom Mobiglass casings break the Mobiglass functionality. The player is unable to place the mining gadget on a mineable rock. Not great, as mining gadgets are a new feature in 3.17, they get that working. AR markers are present when opening the Mobiglass, which can make it hard to read. Ships can explode after players exit them. Many mineable asteroids can't be scanned, and it does seem that Minables, asteroids, and asteroid issues, mining issues are a sort of problem with 3.17 at the moment, so hopefully they get all of those fixed. While docked to a Starfarer, the Valkyrie will continuously tilt instead of remaining stationary. Refinery yield bonuses are incredibly high, but I actually quite like that. Why not have them high? Why not reward certain random jobs? I say that with a load of mining ships, yeah, so I suppose I have a vested interest in them being high. Players with positive health can enter a state similar to being downed without the ability to see the UI or VFX for being properly incapacitated. The ability to buy components into ship storage will be coming later in the PTU cycle, so that is still planned. That's going to really change the way the economy works, in my opinion. There's going to be a lot more opportunities to buy and sell things. Cloud Imperium are also going to be looking at updates for turrets in a future release, so it doesn't sound like they're actually going to be overhauling them much or tweaking them much for the 3.17 initial build now. They reverted the changes previously that they had made to them. Cloud Imperium are ploughing through those issues, and servers do seem a bit more stable. When I was trying to get some river footage the other day, we only hit 130k problem. Those in did have bad frame rates. I think that they are a bit of a mixed bag at the moment. It's PTU. If all goes well, I do think we could see a live build by the end of next week, sort of April 22nd, 23rd time, in my opinion. That's not a confirmation, that's just what I reckon. Cloud Imperium might push that before. They might go, bam, let's release it this week, although I don't think it would be a great idea to do that. Or blockers could cause that to be delayed even further. So sort of just bear that in mind. I would love to know your experiences of the 3.17 Open PTU in the comments below, though. We had some dev responses to questions on Spectrum as well. There was a PIPs question, which PIPs are predicted impact points, basically where you aim to shoot at your target. Pew, pew, pew. With the consolidation PIP for all weapons, how does the PIP handle weapons with different projectile velocities? We used to have multiple PIPs to show where those projectiles would hit. So if you're using laser repeaters with 1400 meters per second and laser cannons with 700 meters per second, sort of that's projectile travel speed he's referring to. So if you have those two weapons together, which weapon's projected impact is the PIP displaying? Is it an interpolation between the two velocities? Cloud Imperium's Yogi Cat replied, the visible pips, one for the gimbaled and one for the fixed convergence group, are currently based on the fastest projectile velocity within each group. The slower guns will still try to hit their own internal pip, which is usually further offset, as best as they can if the barrel is within the nudging freedom. We are aware of the issues that this brings, and I do not think we have reached an ideal solution yet, but this is how it works for the moment. Please keep in mind that the projectile velocities are not final at all. You can expect a lot of changes in the future, but we'll likely approach this only after certain flight tuning changes have happened, as projectile velocities and ship tunings are very strongly tied together. There seems to be a little confusion as well, because someone then did say Cloud Imperium had previously said it was the slowest projectile where that projected impact point should be. Has anything for that specifically changed in 3.17? Yogi Clat replied, I'd have to double check that specifically. There was quite a bit of back and forth on this in the past. And no, we didn't really change anything on that in 3.17. If things feel different in the PTU, then it's mostly down to desync being less of an issue. So there does seem to be a bit of confusion exactly where pips are aiming currently. So I would like Cloud Imperium to clarify in a bit more detail what is happening in the current build. There were some more follow-up questions as well. The Ion's disabling of the aimbot exposed that the pip does not adjust to the target's distance. Is that an issue also going to be addressed? Again, Yoga Cat said, reintroducing a bit of nudging freedom on the size 7 weapon is on our to-do list during the 3.17 cycle, but this won't be in the initial release. A change like that refers more to balance and tuning at this point. Only very vital changes, aka high priority bug fixes, are let in to improve build stability. There's then a little bit more of a salty question, although in some ways quite justified. I mean, people are certainly allowed to ask this sort of thing, and it does appear that in some cases that ships are changed, tweaked, buffed, nerfed in accordance with sales. Now, I do think that is more coincidental personally. Correlation, not causation, and coincidence. And let's be serious about this. All ships are going to be heavily balanced and changed after physicalized ship components come in and as the game gets more and more refined. So I think all ships will be very close to their original sort of concept and goals for what they were intended to be, although some of them will have to see big differences. But there was a comment saying, buffing the Ion after not touching it for 2 quarters, which sounds like you're most likely going to buff it with 3.17, same patch as the big Moneymaker sale event. Holy comical coincidence, Batman. And then another poster said, are you suggesting that it will be nerfed following the sales? So YogiCat replied to this as well. It shouldn't be surprising really that ship data changes after the initial release. Once we, i.e. the Space Combat team, get a ship from the ship content team, we'll do a first tuning pass and then hand it over to our players, if possible within the either Cardi test flight or the PTU, to then get early feedback, but sadly this is not always the case. Following the initial release, we capture player feedback and compare that with analytics. If we see the need to adapt the numbers, we try and adapt them ASAP. And this is of course always after the initial release and has nothing to do with marketing or sale events. However, with a lot of players using those new ships, we get a lot of usable player feedback and data to spot balance issues. Post-release changes happened to the Ares, and those will happen again with future ships like the Scorpius. May it be buffs or nerfs of any kind. That is just a very normal part of the game balance process. Don't try and read any bad intentions into that. There are none. All we do here is try to establish a stable gameplay environment so that every ship is a valid choice for a player. I do very much like Cloud Imperium getting involved with responding to players on the forums and on Spectrum, sort of giving dev responses and player feedback like that. Let's hope they do it more and more. Boom, that's it for your Star Citizen updates today. We plod towards a 3.17 live build that should be in our hands pretty soon, but there's still much testing to do. Have you been to the river yet? Are you excited to see more purchasable ships in game? What are your experiences with the PTU so far? What do you think about Cloud Imperium's response about the nerfing and changing of ships and their sort of buffing, nerfing, and when it occurs? Do you feel that Cloud Imperium hype up ships, make them sound super powerful, make them super powerful at their first release, and then nerf them very quickly later as part of sales and marketing and strategy? Or do you think that sometimes ships are nerfed, some are buffed, and it's about whether that ship needs to be nerfed or buffed based on the current gameplay in a patch and how that all balances out? Whatever your thoughts though, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. I was feeling tired and sluggish. I found out that I was allergic to adverts and malware in 2022, which means I can't use the internet. If only there was a service that could help. Wait! There is! NordVPN.com/BoredGamer! It's NordVPN that I use, and it blasts away a load of my advert and malware-based concerns, while allowing me to freely explore the internet. Maybe I want to be in the USA today, and pretend that I'm an American. What's this? Now I'm down under in the Australias? Wait, now I'm in the UK. Okay, I live there. That is less impressive. NordVPN has done so much for me. Sign up with the links below or go to nordvpn.com/BoredGamer. Every month we have a ship giveaway. For April 2022, we're giving away an Origin 400i. It's a luxury exploration and touring ship, which will be great for a small crew wishing to explore the stars or try out a multitude of other gameplay. It's like a little yacht in space, a little piece of luxury. All you need to do to be in for a chance to win that is comment on any of my videos made during April 2022. More details in the description below. If you wish to further support the channel, consider clicking the join button under my videos to become a channel member or even become a Patreon. That goes a massive way in helping with our day-to-day videos and gives you a variety of little exclusives as well. But it should just make you feel warm and fuzzy inside. Join today! Thanks so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and comment if so inclined, and I'll see you in the verse.